Welcome back to Vibration Essence with Shannon and Amber. This week is a lot of contrasts. I feel like a lot of, I don't know, at least I can speak for myself, a lot of fear coming through, and a lot of awarenesses, which is where it all starts from, right? I've said for a really long time that awareness is our superpower
Yeah.
because without it, we actually can't change. So, um, yay, go me, go us. They can come toward awareness, right?
Yeah. Yes.
But the 2 days ago, I had my study group. We're still on a return to love, still reading chapter 6. We're coming to an end here soon. We still are on relationships, but I feel like as we're coming in talking about like the ways in which we change our minds and change in our thinking, that this can really apply to anything. Obviously, first and foremost, our relationships, if we're married, children, etc. But it can also apply to business. It can apply to personal things, right? Changing our mind, changing our thinking is so powerful because that's how we not only heal ourselves, but we do heal uh, our relationships and our experiences, right? So,
Right.
um, if I'm
Yeah.
angry at you, for instance, right, and I'm expecting you to change, oh, well, Shannon, once you change, then everything will be perfect. Now I can be different. I can, you know what I'm saying? It
Right.
actually starts inside and even viewing maybe why I'm angry at you in the first place, right? So, of course, I'm not, I love you, but just a little example there. Um,
No,
so
it's true.
yeah.
We always change is hard, and especially when we change our view on someone or someone does hurt us, and it's easy to blame them, but it's also really good to go inside and look at how you contributed to this, because obviously every situation there's two people, especially if it's with somebody else. It's two people, and so I've had a lot of contrast in the last few weeks. It's been a very, very difficult road for me right now, and I've lost someone very close to me, and I'm having problems in my home, and it's all of these things, and it's a lot, and it's so easy to put the blame on somebody else, but it's also so good to go inside and reflect and see
Mhm.
how you contributed to this, or what you weren't. Or a big lesson I learned recently too is how we how I don't always see the people for who they are. I want them to be a certain way, and so I put that on them instead of accepting who they are right now. And so then that also causes problems because you're not actually looking at the truth. You're
Mhm.
wanting you're wanting like a fairy tale of what you want. And so it's just really interesting to like this, as horrible as these last 2 weeks have been, as hard as it's been. um, I've learned so much, and it's so much about myself and so much about change. There's been so much change, and change is good. Change is good. That means like we're growing, we're expanding. Um, so much about relationships and how I view people and how I really need to look at the truth. And it's just like it's when things like this happen, when things go they seem to be going horribly wrong in your life, it's so good to just go inside and to look at like also one thing I have, and I have it on my fridge, it says, what is going well right now? And so it's like when I am like really like, oh, this is all so much, it's too much. I see that and I'm like, oh, well, my
Yeah.
cats are healthy. I'm okay. I'm kind of healthy. I'm almost there. You know what I mean? Like you just start listing, like the sun is shining. I live
Yeah.
in California. I live right by the beach. There's so many things that we can
Yeah.
reflect on too, as well. And so it's just like that changes your mindset as well. And it's really great to also be. Obviously, we've been doing this work for a while, and to do this work, especially with Yuki. And one of my favorite things he said when I first started being with him is you have to tap into the um the flow of faith. And that's the thing. You just got to know that it's going to be okay. You got to know that this is like that your relationships can mend. You can forgive. You can time heals, of course. And like I said to you before, and I've said this to Yuki, that I just want to like be over this and I want to let it go and I don't want to be upset anymore. But there's that human part of me that is like, it can't, it's like it's got to heal, it's got to let go. It's like, but there's this deep knowing inside of here that, so all of it hasn't been as bad as in my life before, when I have had major contrasts with people or my home or my health. It's
Mhm.
like it's hard, but there's still this deep knowing, and this is what this work is about. This is why reading this book is so important, because we embody it with you, we talk about it with you,
Uh,
we talk about what's happening in these chapters. So it's really powerful.
yeah, and it's also very helpful because I'll be honest, like I read it myself, we read on the call and there's still stuff where I haven't, I mean, I could go back and read it another like, second, third time to
Yeah.
fully integrate, because that's the whole point, right? Is you can read books all day long, but if you're coming out of
Right.
it not changing anything, then all you've done is read words. And so there's a lot of times, because my life has been a little contrasty the past couple weeks too. I feel like there's some entanglement with us, right? Different
Uh-huh.
circumstances, very kind of like intense with emotions and like 3D circumstances. But I will, like I had a moment this morning, and so then I had to look at like, okay, how did that come about, right? Like how like my personal responsibility in it, and then also too like from the book, like how can we come from like that essence view, like you would talk about, right? um because the essence view is just of love. There's zero else. um and then also within Yuki's community, right, on Jan's call this morning, learning about the Enneagram, and we're on point six, and talks about living from fear, and then we got into talking about faith. And I had noticed that within the fear, that with this conversation, I was living from fear, but I didn't catch it. Like I was aware that my vibration was like sinking. Like I was fully aware of it, like, boop, yep, this is happening.
Yeah.
But I wasn't understanding at that moment that I was coming from fear. Like, because there's a difference between, I guess there's not really a difference. Like you can feel that like somebody's energy is a certain kind of way, and then you're like, okay,
Mhm.
I noticed that like I'm starting to absorb it because now I'm getting to that level as well. But I didn't see it as like it was like this fear of like because it was my daughter, and so the conversation with my daughter. So then I was like, okay, I was coming from a fear of like what things she was saying to me, fear of like how she's growing up, right? I mean, she's an adult now, but like fear of like how she is in the world, like without my guidance, right? Like all these kind of things came in, but they happened came in so fast that I wasn't aware of that part of it. So then after the fact, and the conversation didn't go how I wanted to, I was like coming at it from like, okay, what happened there? Kind of dissecting it, and not in a way of because it is in the past, right? Now I'm moving forward, but just kind of like, okay, how did that like come to be? Like, how did we get to that moment where like now you're yelling? You know what I mean? Because I was fully aware that I was kind of getting absorbed, but it was like, okay, now pulling back, I get to see that okay, it's fear in this, fear in this, fear in this, fear in this, which is that old stuff, the
Right.
old story. And also we had like an amazing conversation this morning with Jan about like faith. And somebody said faith is not something that we can understand, it's something that we feel.
Mhm.
I said
Absolutely.
that's, in that contrast, whether it's these experiences in the 3D with like strangers or like with a relationship, right? Stepping into faith is knowing like, okay, this relationship is ending, right? Or whatever. And knowing that it's the like for both of us. Even
Right.
if like no signs of life, no signs of like that is working out for either of us because the emotions are not, they don't feel good. You know what I mean? But knowing the faith in like, okay, this is happening for us. In like 5 years from now, a year from now, whatever, like I'm gonna, you know what I mean? There's gonna be that growth, like you were talking about. Um, and I said that it's kind of like, because somebody said something about faith is also taking action. And I said, well, it's kind of like praying to win the lottery and then never buying a ticket. Like it's just,
Right.
what I
Right.
mean? You kind of have
Right.
to also,
Yeah.
faith is that part is stepping into that next thing with the
Yeah.
faith that like this is happening. So, um, I love that
Yes.
so much. Can you tell us a little bit about what the mudra was that we did in your vibration ritual class? I totally forgot to ask you the name.
Oh my God, I can't. I can't think of the name right now either. My brain.
Okay.
I'm sorry. My brain is such mush right now. It's not the Karuna mudra. Sorry, my head is so. I mean, I'm so
Yeah.
cloudy right now. But it is a mudra of self love, and it's just
Okay. Perfect.
very. It's just very simple. Why can't
Yeah.
I? I can't believe I can't think of the name.
No,
But
you're
it's
good.
so beautiful, and I've been doing it a lot. And this is great for. It's just very simple. It looks like the OK sign, but
Oh,
it's
you
just you
pulled it.
put
Okay.
your thumb right in between your two indents in your index finger, and then the other three are stretched out. Yep.
Okay.
And then you can put it here in your heart. I love to put it by my heart. You can put it just like on your knees, like that. You can put it out if you like, whatever you want. And this one just works instantly. You don't even need to I have to give a name. You don't even need to do it for minutes. Like sometimes you have to do it for 5 minutes or 10
Okay.
minutes. This one it just works instantly. It just like automatically calms you.
I
And if you
love
just
that.
do it with some deep breaths, it's just so beautiful.
Okay. Yeah. I
And
love
mudras are
that.
so important when you're seeing contrast because they just change your energy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they
Perfect.
just change your energy. And it's just so beautiful to it's just something so simple that you don't even really need to think about, and you can just I just automatically do mudras all day long. It's so interesting. Like I notice if I'm standing at work at the restaurant, like I'll do a certain mudra. If I'm sitting like driving and I'm stuck in traffic, I'll do another mudra. Like they just come automatically, and it's so great. It's a powerful way to change your energy inside and around you. Mudras are known as seals, so they seal in these beautiful energies with you. Um, yeah, and I've been trying to do them for health as well. Obviously, my health is not so great right now, and um, they're just so beautiful. Yeah, just like one of my favorite. They go so great with meditation, of course, with chanting, with walking, um, with yeah, just trying to put yourself in a high vibration. They're just so beautiful.
Hmm.
They're my favorite.
I love
Yeah.
that. I don't know why, but some reason, and if you said this and that's where I got it from, please hop in. But for some reason, I'm thinking of like this is us as like wholeness, and then the ego is wanting to come in and like say
Yes.
some stuff,
Yes.
and
Yes.
you're
Yes.
like, no thanks, no
Yes. Yes. So,
thanks. Like that's
yes.
what
And
I'm
then,
thinking a
exactly.
lot of when you were like, because I'm like, well, you're kind of holding his finger down, you know.
Yes. So this is
Not,
like this represents the universe. On this mudra,
okay.
this I can't believe I can't believe it. This represents the universe, and this is our ego, and it's our
Yes.
ego is bowing down to the universe because obviously we trust you, we love you.
Yeah, yeah.
Our ego gets in the way, and we gotta let it go and bow it down to the universe and just like trust the universe and have faith, right? Like that's what this is all about.
Perfect.
Is
Awesome.
definitely faith.
I
Yeah.
did remember it. I was like, if I'm just coming up with that, or you telling
No,
me.
no, no.
But
Yeah,
I
that's
love that
so
because,
true.
like I said, I didn't remember you saying that, but like I felt it. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
felt that, like okay, and you're not using like force.
No,
You're just
no.
gently kind of placing their hand there. Is like,
Yeah,
you know what? Thanks, but no thanks.
yeah, 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 yeah,
We're
yeah.
gonna go back to self-love and
Well, that's where we're, yeah, exactly. Like that's when we were just talking about fear. Like I have a lot of fear right now inside of me. You have a lot of fear. We have a lot of
yeah,
contrast happening, a lot of change. And so things that have never, places we've never been before in this world, right? Like that we've never, things that have happened that are happening in our lives that have never happened before. And so it's so powerful. Like our ego is the thing that's driving that. Our ego is the thing when we're just like in our head and we're not, and we're just like, oh my God, this is happening. This happened. Oh my God, this is happening. And we're just like freaking out. It's like, no, come into your body, breathe into your heart, do a mudra, and
yeah.
just like sit there. And when you sit, it's like, I trust myself. Oh, I trust the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, this isn't as bad as I think. When we're in our head all the time, it seems so bad because our ego is running the show. When we come into our body and we're just really within ourselves, when like I say, when we dive deep into our inner being, there's trust in there, there's love because we've worked so hard at this. There's compassion, there's ease, there's flow. It's just we got to take the moment every day to get out of our head when we're freaking out, and we really got to get into our bodies, and mudras help you do that. Obviously breath work is such a great way to do that. Meditation, chanting, any vibration work, listening to music is such a good way that you love music that moves you, because then you can really get to your body and feel love and feel self-love, because a lot of times too it's our ego running the show. We're not showing love to ourselves. We're judging ourselves. Which the ego loves to judge, right? As we know, especially ourselves. And so yeah, anything that we can get into our body more, and that mudras are a great way to do that. But any way we can do that is really going to help you and help whatever contrast is going on in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've started to implement more and more with our children because our children are 11 and 5. I mean, I have an
Yeah.
adult, but she just kind of rolls her eyes at all this right now, which is I'm just kind of letting it be. With our 11-year-old and 5-year-old, we're slowly kind of spoon feeding them kind of like these concepts. And so, for instance, yesterday we had a moment where we had a pickup order at a store. And so we had already ordered it and we're literally just picking up the bags and going. And my 11-year-old was like, I want to get something, and we kind of had a discussion about we're making a choice not to do that, this and that. And so we go to the store and he's like, well, I want it. And I was like, okay, look, we kind of already had this conversation, we're choosing not to, etc. So by the time we get in the car, now he's like full on emotion. Like he is literally crying, all these things. And I said, let's talk about the whole like, because then he goes, well, I just want to get something. I said, okay,
Right.
what is it around like, going to the store? Because we haven't always been with like every store you get something, right? Like maybe when he was like smaller, but not recently.
Right.
So I said, and he got quite angry, and I said, it has nothing to do with money, it has nothing to do with right any of those things. And I said, but let's kind of look at like why you felt as though like you're so emotional behind the fact that you didn't get something. Because at this point now, his body is like anything, like, grasping.
Right.
And then I kind of actually talked to him about like what happens in your body when you have like addictions and stuff.
Mhm.
I kind of didn't like child layman's terms. I'm like, there's little guys inside, and they're, when you get something at the store, then it has a little party, and it's like, woo. So when you go and you don't, and then the guys are like, hey, where's our party? Kind of for him to at least kind of understand these things.
Right.
And I said, so, it's understanding, because then at that point he's mad at us because we didn't get it, and I was like, because he's like, well, I just want to know why we didn't. And I said, you know what? The question is to ask, why are we so upset that
Right.
we did something right? And it's not about being upset, because you can cry and all those things are fine. But it was just an interesting conversation. And it also helped me as we were kind of showing him, and I don't think he fully understood, but then also in myself, because I was wholeheartedly like in my 20s, oh, I want a new phone, oh, I want another car, or I want a
Right.
whatever, thinking that that's going to fill the hole, what I mean, all these things. And it would for a minute, oh my gosh, look
Of
at this,
course.
you know,
Sure does.
ever. And then I was left feeling, I could feel the whole again, HOLE,
Yeah.
right? And so
Yeah.
it's understanding in those moments, like sitting quietly. And so, like what comes through and understanding that we're a whole already. And it's okay to want things. I was like, dude, it's totally okay to want to, whatever.
Ah,
But understanding that we're okay without it,
yeah.
and also that the things will come to us if we're living from the unattached kind of place. So
Yes.
it was definitely an interesting conversation, but I also had to notice within myself like the patterns that we placed on him, right, in our unawareness to where he was at now. And then also it's definitely interesting, like now changing the kind of dynamic with
Right.
ourselves and then also with them, because their patterns are still going to keep showing up
Right.
because our kids are still living from the identity of our past parenting, if that
Right.
makes any sense.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's definitely like this really interesting and sometimes frustrating dichotomy, because we're like, okay, cool, we're changed now. And they're like, okay, we're still the kids of the past parents. So it's not changing that quickly for us. And so it's interesting, my husband and I are like,
Yeah.
oh
It's
man,
amazing. I mean, yeah, you're gonna see, but you're gonna see. Like, I mean, it's gonna take them a minute, and
yeah.
because obviously you guys can read all these books, and you have Yuki, and so you have these classes and all these things that you can embody it and learn. It's like they don't have all that yet. It's just from your teachings, but it's just you're the example, and they will come. It's just gonna, yeah, like it's an undoing, it's an unraveling, which is you know and especially because as we know, like your subconscious is being built until you're 7, so especially like your older son, it's like he already has all that really wired in him. Your younger son, obviously, as we know, is a little more um you know uh more prone to this kind of work. Like he gets a lot of it and is in it, and will be a conduit for that. But like, yeah, so it's just like, I mean, that's all you can do is just keep doing you and doing how you guys are doing, and you should be really proud of yourselves because you've changed so much, and you're changing them, and you're all gonna have better lives because of it, for sure.
Yeah. And also getting, I don't want to say getting rid of, but definitely have limiting time with things that um like we would use to numb. So like for instance, we do have a television, but we don't have cable or anything. My husband and I watch very, very limited anything. If we do, it's like a movie with the kids. But I've noticed they um like, they'll have something kind of going on, heavy emotions, and then it's like, oh, I want to watch TV. Oh,
Yeah,
no, and I'm like, okay, because I noticed it was immediate. So now they're learning to like that's how they cope, by just kind of quote zoning out.
totally.
So we've also lessened the like the TV and like the screen time.
Yeah,
I mean, for me, I could do away with the TV and I would be completely fine. I could sell that
yeah,
thing and I wouldn't even care.
right.
And obviously we don't play video games, like we don't do any of that stuff. And just like noticing the patterns that they're starting to develop and then
Yeah,
learning to kind of show them a different way and at least be aware of like that that's happening.
yeah,
Um, and like my 11-year-old, I was like, hey, like, you have a little journal. I was like, do you want to start journaling? And of course he was like, ah. And I said, dude, you can literally be like, I don't want to do this.
yeah,
Like that. And so
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
he goes, I wrote a sentence and I go, what was it, your name? And he goes, no, it was, I don't want to journal. And I said, dude, that's a
yeah.
start. That is
Yeah, yeah,
literally a
yeah,
start because that
yeah.
was a thought that you had. And
Right,
that's where it starts. You know what I
right,
mean?
right.
Because
Absolutely.
even adults that are like, well, I don't know how to journal. And I'm like,
Right,
start right in there.
right.
I don't know how to journal. I don't know what I'm
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
because those are still all thoughts. And so it's
absolutely.
definitely interesting navigating. you know, this and I feel like just like when we feel as though we have it figured out, there's like a new dynamic that we're like, okay, never mind that thought.
Yeah.
But
Totally. That's
anyways,
my journal. Great. Yeah.
yeah. So this week, this Wednesday, if you're interested, we're still gonna well actually we're gonna finish out chapter 6 of Return to Love by Mary, and then we'll be on to chapter 7, which I'm excited for. I think it's called The Work.
Me.
Shannon, you have your class coming up. Do you
Yeah.
know yet what you're going to introduce, or is it just gonna be a
Think, well, I've been I'm trying to figure out, I think I want to do exercises to really calm our nervous system. Like I've been like on just like I've been so stressed out with my relationships, with my health, with my apartment. There's just so much going on right now that is I have no control over. That is just, and so it's just I want us to like kind of surrender, and I want us to have just like, and so I want us to do some exercise. I don't know what I'm doing yet. I was starting to like research yesterday, and so I'm just building it right now. But yeah, I just want us to do like some really calming exercise, and then of course of the vibration stuff is always calming, but I really want to focus on our nervous system, especially just so we can, when chaos is happening around us, we can just go in our center and do something very simple and just know that we're okay, and just like connect to ourselves, for sure.
That's beautiful. I love the
Yeah.
word surrender. I think it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. Thank
Um,
you.
awesome.
Yeah.
So my Divine Essence study group will be every Wednesday. The link will be in the description as well as in the about page. And Shannon's vibration ritual will be every other Tuesday, and that link will also be in the description as well as the about page. If you would like to join us, check it out. And if not, we will be here next week.
Yes.
See you guys.
Absolutely. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.